Welcome to Inside Gaming. I'm Brian. It is Weekend Roundup time. So if you have been following video game news at all, if you've just casually been looking at it for the last year or so, you know it's been a rough time for Activision Blizzard. There has been the gigantic sexual harassment scandal for one. There's been lawsuits from a variety of government agencies. Furious employees have been organizing and in some cases unionizing to demand more of a voice on how the company is run. Well, we recently got a look at how much this has affected Activision's core business, people playing video games. And the headline here is that they have lost a lot of players over the last 12 months. Now, this is coming from Activision Blizzard itself. These are their numbers. In a recent earnings report, they reported that their monthly active users fell from 372 million at the end of March 2022 to 361 million users at the end of June. So that's bad, right? A few months, a drop of almost 10 million players. Not great, but wait, it gets much worse. Now, if you go back to June 30th of last year, its monthly active user base was 408 million users, which means that from that point to the end of June of this year, the company lost 47 million players. That is a lot. That is substantial. It's 47 million. I don't know how much that is, but it's a lot. I can't put that in perspective. I've never had 47 million of anything, but if I lost that many players, I would lose some sleep at night. All right, so what caused the drop? Well, first and foremost, they have had a pretty sparse release schedule over the last year. The main release being Diablo Immortal, which even a raging dumpster fire would look at and think, damn, at least I'm not that guy. At least I'm just raging over here. At least I'm not Diablo Immortal. Oh, and side note, did you read the story about how the Diablo Immortal player spent $100 grand on the game, now says he can't get access to PvP anymore? They're even locking the whales out of their game. That's how much of a dumpster fire Diablo Immortal is. Again, no disrespect to dumpster fires, I'm sorry. Meanwhile, Call of Duty Vanguard, I guess that was a big release too for them. Basically, that was their 1 and 2 with Diablo Immortal. Came out in November of last year, but it underperformed. It got a 72 on Metacritic. The company told investors a few months back that the game's World War II setting didn't resonate with some of our community. Now, Activision said this week that its second quarter revenue and operating income declined year over year, quote, reflecting lower engagement for the Call of Duty franchise, but grew versus the first quarter. So yeah, not a great year for the company when your two big games are Diablo Immortal and a very mediocre World War II Call of Duty. Now, the easing of COVID lockdowns probably also played a role in that, but still, that is a massive drop. You got to assume at least part of that is the effect of all the scandals that have plagued the company. Interestingly though, Activision Blizzard says they are staffing up in spite of the bad numbers. The company said, we will continue to increase investment in our creative resources to meet the demand for our content. Our development headcount at the end of the second quarter grew by 25% year over year. And a big company like Activision Blizzard, that is a lot of new jobs. So hey, that's good. On the bright side also, they've got Modern Warfare 2 out this year, so you can expect that to help out the bottom line, especially if it's good. But here is the other headline for today. Activision is also reportedly skipping a new mainline Call of Duty for 2023. That would be the first time in almost 20 years they haven't had an annual Call of Duty. This comes from Bloomberg, who said that the decision to put off a new Call of Duty next year was due to a recent entry in the series that failed to meet expectations. Vanguard, leading some executives to believe that they're introducing new versions too rapidly. They said it was not due to the pending $69 billion acquisition of Activision Blizzard by Microsoft. But then again, if they're being acquired, what's the emphasis to put out a new game next year? It's like, who cares? It's like studying for homework on the last day of school. We're like, we're all going to be on summer break tomorrow, so who cares? In the meantime, they are planning some other projects to fill that void. Modern Warfare 2 is going to be getting a lot of additional content. There'll also be a new free-to-play online game next year. Treyarch Studios, which has been working on the delayed Call of Duty game, will reportedly be helping with the free-to-play one. In a statement to Bloomberg, an Activision spokesman said, we have an exciting slate of premium and free-to-play Call of Duty experiences for this year, next year, and beyond. We look forward to sharing more details when the time is right. Meanwhile, over at Blizzard, the release of Diablo Immortal obviously helped them rebound a little bit in terms of players, but overall, it's still down. The company had 22 million monthly active users for the quarter ending of March of this year, but it bounced back to 27 million at the beginning of July, so the gain of 5 million monthly active users. But again, if you go back a little bit further, Blizzard had 29 million players at the end of 2020, 32 million at the end of 2019, and 35 million at the end of 2018. So they've gone down from 35 million in 2018 to 27 million this year. So overall, they are still way down. Now they do have some stuff in the pipeline. Overwatch 2 launches, free-to-play early access in October. That's just a few months away. And Diablo 4 is due out sometime next year. But yeah, for Activision Blizzard, their player numbers are dropping big time. All right, we'll get to the rest of the stories in just a second. But first, guys, let's talk Manscaped. If you haven't heard already, it is smooth sack summer. Yes, keep your sack nice and smooth. When you're playing in the summer sun, make sure you're scaped from your pubes to your bum. That means bottom in English. That's right. This is the summer to keep your balls cool while still looking hot with Manscaped. The leader in below-the-belt grooming is making sure we have a ball this summer. Get it, ball? By giving our pants partners everything they need to stay fresh. I'll bet someone's really proud of this copy. Dive headfirst into Smooth Sack Summer by going to Manscaped for 20% off plus free shipping with our code ROUNDUP. And the biggest thing they've got right now is the Manscaped Performance Package 4.0. It has everything you need to prepare for your summer body. You'll get the Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer, the Weed Whacker ear and nose hair trimmer, Crop Preserver ball deodorant, Crop Reviver toner, Performance Boxer briefs. Oh, those feel so good. And a travel bag to hold your goodies. Let me tell you something. I have Manscaped. You want to stay trimmed down there. You want to keep it nice, streamlined. It just feels better. You're more hygienic. Your partner is gonna thank you. Trust me, you do not want to smell down there. Oh, and the trimmer's waterproof too. Perfect for the beach. So here's what you have to do, guys. Get 20% off plus free shipping with the code ROUNDUP at manscaped.com. That's 20% off plus free shipping with the code ROUNDUP at manscaped.com. It's smooth sack summer, boys. Get on board or get left behind. All right, on to the rest of the story. So we know that Halo Infinite had a lot of delays before it launched last December. Now a developer tells us that the game's open world was scaled back a lot. This comes from 343 Industries head of creative, Joseph Staten, who said recently that they made significant cutbacks and changes. He said, the team went through a lot of iterations on scope and biome variety before I joined. Even after I joined the team, we had to make choices about where to scale back. He added that they didn't have time to create as varied of a world as they originally wanted. He said they did make some big strides after the 2020 demo at E3 got panned and they bounced back from that. But yeah, ultimately they had to make some cuts. Staten said, we didn't end up cutting that much ultimately from the open world, but I know from the original designs there was a pretty significant scaling back of what the team had hoped at one point that they could deliver on. So it'll be always one of those what if stories. EA is definitely known for focusing on live service games, all the better to pump us for that sweet microtransaction money. But they want you to know that single player games are still very, very important to them, that's good news. They did have a good response to Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. That was pretty good. So has EA now seen the single player light? Yes and no. During a Q&A during a recent earnings call, they were asked how single-player games fit into their current portfolio. CEO Andrew Wilson responded that as we think about single-player games, we think it's a really, really important part of the overall portfolio that we deliver in the fulfillment of those core motivations. Interestingly, though, then their chief financial officer, Chris Su, immediately jumped in and pointed out that live services account for almost 3/4 of their total business. He said, if we think about the model impact and the financial impact of it, I think the first thing to always keep in mind is that live services still encompass over 70% of our business, and that has been a proven, very reliable, highly recurring revenue stream, and that will still be the predominant driver in our profit and loss long term. Translation, most of our money is made from live services, so that's still going to mostly be our thing. A mobile World of WarCraft game has been canned, and it looks like things are not great between Activision Blizzard and NetEase. The two sides have been working on the game for smartphones for 3 years, but apparently that's over. Bloomberg reported that NetEase disbanded a team of more than 100 people that were creating content for the game. They said the two companies disagreed over terms, that some sort of financial things. Ultimately, they called a halt to it. The game was codenamed Neptune. It was supposed to be an MMORPG set in the same universe as WoW, but more of a spin-off, less than a direct sequel. Its cancellation definitely calls into question the relationship between Blizzard and NetEase. They're basically China's #2 gaming company. They co-developed Diablo Immortal, which, you know what, maybe this breakup isn't a bad thing at all. All right, guys, say goodbye to accolades on the PlayStation 5. Wait, what's that? You didn't use them? Oh, don't worry, nobody did. That's why Sony's getting rid of them. The feature was intended to be a way to let players acknowledge each other's efforts in games. You could give people badges, like if they were welcoming, if they were helpful. But the official PlayStation site said that apparently nobody seemed interested in giving accolades. They wrote, in fall of 2022, the accolades feature on PS5 will no longer be supported. The feature hasn't seen the level of usage we anticipated, so we're refocusing our efforts. We encourage the community to continue to send positive messages to one another. So there you go. It's basically the GoBots to Pokemon's Transformers. That's by far the best way I can describe it. And 3 of you will know what I'm talking about. All right, let's talk about the games coming out next week. First up, 2 Point Campus. Build the university of your dreams with 2 Point Campus, the sim with a twist from the makers of 2 Point Hospital. Build, hire staff, and run an academic institution packed with wild courses. Comes to PC, PS5, Xbox Series X, PS4, Xbox One, and Switch August 9th. Lost in Play. Go on a feel-good adventure with a brother and sister as they explore dreamscapes and befriend magical creatures. Lost in their imagination, Toto and Gal must stick together and solve puzzles to journey back home. Comes to PC and Switch August 10th. Arcade Paradise. Welcome to Arcade Paradise, the 90s-fueled retro arcade adventure. Rather than washing rags for a living, you decide to turn the family laundromat into the ultimate arcade. I'm sure that happened all the time in the 80s. Play profit and purchase new arcade machines with over 35 to choose from to build your very own Arcade Paradise. It comes to PC, PS5, Xbox Series X, PS4, Xbox One, and Switch August 11th. Cult of the Lamb. Start your own cult in a land of false prophets, venturing out into diverse and mysterious regions to build a loyal community of woodland followers and spread your world to become the one true cult. Comes to PC, PS5, Xbox Series X, PS4, Xbox One, and Switch August 11th. Rumbleverse is an all-new free-to-play 40-person brawler royale where anyone can be a champion. You play as your own unique citizen of Grappital City as you battle your way to victory. Customize your fighter by mixing and matching hundreds of unique items and stand out from the crowd. Get launched from a cannon, get dropped into the streets, and prepare to throw down. Comes to PS5, Xbox Series X, PS4, Xbox One, and PC August 11th. And finally, Marvel Spider-Man Remastered. In Marvel Spider-Man Remastered, the worlds of Peter Parker and Spider-Man collide in an original action-packed story. Play as an experienced Peter Parker, fighting big crime and iconic villains in Marvel's New York. Web swing through vibrant neighborhoods and defeat villains with epic takedowns. Comes to PC August 12th. That's all the news I got for you this week, guys. I hope you're having a great weekend. We will see you soon.